everyone, welcome back to this channel. Today I want to talk about the 3D and how to handle it, because I feel like this is the moment where we all get tripped up, because embodying the version of ourselves who has the desires is technically the easy part. You shouldn't have any resistance doing that unless you're still using the 3D as evidence, as proof of who you are. So of course, if you're forming for the total opposite of your situation, of your current situation, then you're going to feel some type of resistance. But the reason why I just said it is because you're using the 3D as proof, as evidence. You're still not using the 4D, the mental plane, your inner world as the only proof, as the only validation. It's still something that you feel like, I'm going to say some words, but I'm going to still want to see if it works in the 3D. I want to see the reflection, right? So when you do that, you're implying that you don't have what you want. So the first thing I would say to be able to handle the 3D properly is to really prioritize your inner world as much as you can. Like you've never prioritized anything else before. Like understand this is really the starting point. There's nothing else. This is the mental plane, awareness, consciousness. You can have anything you want. Everything exists. Everything is in the now. Everything is in the eternal now. So right now, you have your desires. A version of you who has it exists, and then you decide that right now you're that version. It's instant. There's no waiting because there's no time, there's no space. It's instant. You have it now. Now, once you accept that and you know that you have it, congratulations, you have your desires. It's about to be reflected in a physical plane. But for it to be reflected, you have to stay that version truly, faithfully, right? So if you're telling yourself, I'm the version of myself who has it. I'm the version of myself who has it. I'm the version of myself who has it. And you give meaning to the 3D that helps you to stay the version of yourself who has it. That helps you to not be triggered. By example, you're telling yourself, the 3D is unfolding, or the 3D is just a product of my past assumptions. Whatever you're telling yourself. But the problem occurs when you've been affirming that you have your desires for a minute now, and you see it stands still. Okay, the air is too still. Nothing seems to move. This is when you start to feel a little bit impatient. Like, okay, I know it's unfolding, but when is the unfolding gonna start to unfold, right? Or, okay, I know that this is the product of my past assumptions, but when am I gonna see the product of my present assumptions? So this is when you have to realize that you are not the new version of yourself. The new version of yourself who has the desires will never ask those questions. It's the old version that starts to creep in. Why? Is because that old version is so used to use the 5 senses to know if they have something. How do you know you have money in your bank account? Because you saw it. How do you know you receive a text message from a specific person? Because you saw it. How do you know you're in a relationship with them? It's because you had a conversation with them. You heard them say something. You said something. You are used to use your 5 senses to know if you have something or not. So now, when you go in that route for a minute, you start to go back to that version who's used to act this way. I feel like it's normal, yeah. Because it's a habit that you had for decades. Let's just be real here. So it's about to gently, firmly, but still gently have some compassion for yourself and be like, oh, okay, I just realized that I'm not the version of myself who has it. If I'm looking for it, obviously I'm not that version. So let's just double down on being that version who has it right now, without depending on the 3D, without needing to see a change. Because I remember when people used to say that, I did not get it because I was not the version of myself who had it. So of course I was like, how can you not need to see change in a 3D? How is this a thing? Well, of course, the version who doesn't have it cannot understand it. So I feel like this is also why there's a lot of things that we're learning from the law of assumption but at the same time, it can be, you understand at your level of being. That makes sense with me, what I just said. So, yeah, it's about doubling down on being the version of yourself who has it when you realize, okay, I'm slipping on the other side a little bit, you know? And so, how do you double down? It's just remember who you are. Remember that being the version of yourself who has it does not depend on any circumstance. And I know sometimes the circumstance can be real, can be really annoying. I understand. But it's also, I would suggest to level up your self concept, because you will feel less defeated by what you're seeing when you realize that, oh, wait, I'm limitless. There's nothing I can have. There's nothing I can do. I'm powerful. So, of course, whatever I'm seeing right now has nothing on me. You do not give power to what you see, and you take your power back. So, this is how I would handle the 3D, is to know, the first thing is to validate or prioritize the fourth dimension, my inner world, prioritize the inner world, okay? Make it the only truth. The second thing, when I notice, when I notice the impatience, to double down on who I want to be. And the third thing is to really elevate your self-concept so you do not feel triggered easily. Because that's the thing. I just said, if you've been affirming for a while and you see no difference, this is when you could get triggered. But if you don't elevate your self-concept, you can feel triggered a lot sooner, because you see something that you don't like. Let's say you see opposite results. But when I say opposite results, it's never results. It's just opposite events. Because the only result that's final is your wish fulfilled. Everything else is just in between. Like, it's just, I call them bus stop. Like, they did a bus stop there. I don't like that stop, but it doesn't matter because I know it's going to my wish fulfilled. Just see it like that, you know. Why is it going to my wish fulfilled? Because my word is the only word. My truth is the only reality. So if I said something, that's what it is. But elevate that self-concept to be able to think like that, to not feel like, oh, shoot, that person, I was in a contest, that person won, so I mean I lost. No, what you mean? If you saw yourself winning a contest, then you won. You decided you won, that you won. Now you're thinking, but it's a contest, if they say the name of someone else as a winner, it's over. That other person won. No, you won. That's the thing. You think that some things are final, nothing is final. You won. And what could happen when you think like that? Well, maybe the person who won is suddenly disqualified, or suddenly they decide, you know what, we want a second winner than this. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could happen. Okay? So do not give up because you see something that seems totally opposite to what you decided. I see, like, looking at the 3D as looking at the night sky, which is the 3D still. But whenever you look at planets or stars, you're looking at the past, because the reflection to reach the Earth is depending of the distance of the star, and between the star and the Earth, like this, the light speed. I don't know all the terms. I just know that this is a slight delay. A slight delay, let's say for the moon. If something happens to the moon, if the moon explodes, it will take 1.2 seconds for us to see it. So we'll think it's instant. But if the sun explodes, it will take us 8 minutes to realize it, to see it. So you could look at the sun, that it exploded 5 minutes ago, but you don't know. You will know it in 3 minutes. So I see looking at the 3D in the same way as, okay, I decided I have my desires. It's instead I'm the version of myself who has it. The 3D already conformed. The 3D already changed. It's just going to take 1.2 seconds for me to see it. That's how I see. I'm not waiting for it to see. I know it already conformed. I know it already changed. It's just going to take a few seconds for me to see it because of the light speed. I don't know. Tell yourself whatever you need to tell yourself for you to understand and be cool with what you're seeing. Okay? Whatever. I feel like everything is true. It's just assumptions. Everyone is right. So But the main thing, like I said, in my opinion, is to be able to know when you're triggered is because you're being the version of yourself who doesn't have the desires. You're not the version of yourself who has it, so you just have to double down by understanding that who you are is the only thing that matters. That's the only thing. I'm the version of myself who has the money. I'm the version of myself who's with a specific person. I'm the version of myself who has the career, who has the house, who has whatever the hell it is. But do not make that depend on what you see, because this is when you're gonna do back and forth, ping pong ball, ping pong. And that's a loop that does not end. Just to recap one last time, handle the 3D this way by understanding that, okay, the fourth dimension, the inner being, is the only truth. Make sure of that. Elevate your self-concept, because you won't feel defeated as easily if you know that you're limitless, powerful, and can have anything you want. And the second thing, understand, notice when you're triggered, because your old self, your old version of yourself, is so used to use the 3D and 5 senses as validation that if you go for a long time without using your 5 senses as validation, when you've been doing that for decades, it's normal that you feel a little when is it gonna come? Okay, don't be hard on yourself. It's just realize it and just, oh right, it's true. I don't need to see it for me to know that I have it. So let's just double down on the fact that I have it. I know this video was helpful because it is. I don't know. It just is. And I'll see you next time. Bye.